Hi everybody, can you hear me? Yes. Thanks for coming out on this stormy night. I went to Muir Woods earlier today and I've been like a popsicle all day. I can't warm up. I've been really bummed since the election, and I know everyone here probably has too, or many of you. And I think what concerns me the most is the concern for our immigrant populations. And I want to encourage everyone to sign the MoveOn.org petition to make San Rafael a sanctuary city. My first poem is called Requiem Mass for the Yuma 14. The Yuma 14 were a group of immigrants who attempted a crossing from Mexico in the 90s and didn't make it, like many hundreds don't make it. Requiem Mass for the Yuma 14. Beyond the border, they could smell the rain. It smelled like freedom, freedom and home. The desert composes its requiem. The oldest was 60, his son 13. One wore new jeans, one carried a comb. Beyond the border, they could smell the rain. They got lost. Then they lost their water. The sun was a furnace blast. Dust, thirst, delirium, the desert composing its requiem. Vampire air, heat that bakes flesh off bone. Hands fretworked with spines, mouths crammed with bits of quartz. They smelled the rain. The boy dreamt saguaro was bread, and the stones were stars. He heard tall, coal-winged seraphim, rehearsing a requiem aeternam. He made a neat stack of his clothes, and at dawn he lay down. He burst like a ripe sunset, a plum. Beyond the border, you can smell the rain. The desert composes its requiem. Some of you may have heard about Congressman Todd Akin's remarks about legitimate rape last fall. So I wrote this poem in response to that. And the other trigger for the poem were any number of those wonderful Flemish paintings of the Annunciation, where the angel Gabriel arrives with the bugle to tell her she's pregnant. And she usually doesn't look that thrilled. So this is spoken, it's a persona poem spoken in the voice of the bugling angel. The bugler responds to Mary. What will he do, slut, if you refuse? He will silence your voice, break your reed, have you stripped and flayed, make you my mute, my spit rag, my instrument case, merely a vessel to swell, split, and spill fruit. Without God, what water, what soil, what salt, what sun? I, mouthpiece, claim absolution, an absolute reign under his reign. Have you seen how a trumpet is made, silver stamped thin, rolled, bent, crimped like a thread? God does that with breath. And absent his breath, all song is scat, broken like chaff against his long staff. We live at his sufferance, and you are the pear-shaped note he chooses or not to blow. If it is really rape, you will not ripen. If you refuse, I could teach you the blat interval between bravado and fear, but it's moot. It's already done. He spoke, and I blared into your ear a son. And again, about a year ago, there was a YouTube video making the rounds. Well, actually, it was longer than a year ago. A 13-year-old Syrian boy was tortured and murdered by the government. And to bear witness to this, his parents made a video of a postmortem examination and put it on YouTube. And that inspired this poem, and it's called Iconostasis. And iconostasis is a screen between the nave and the sanctuary of a church, and the idea is that you can't look directly on the sacred. You can only see the sacred by not looking at it. So this is called iconostasis. For the plastic parted and peeled back to reveal him, a panel woven in linen. For his hands, a hummingbird's thrum and blur. For his arm lifted up by the latex gloved hand, water poured past all thirst. For the gloved hand, the pale, powdery fingers of a terrible angel. For each thumbprint bruise, the petal of a dark rose. For his voice calling his mother, the single note of a thrush. For where they burned him, a choir of stars tangling a high, unresolved chord. For his round child's face, the low sough of an oboe. For his eyes, a palm to stroke them closed. A close-up to anoint orbital, brow, mouth, and chin. Vaseline on the lens, a finger in ash to write his name. And since those were all really downers, I'm going to close with, I don't know, some might call it a sex poem, but I think it's a love poem. 13. I was 13, and there was a boy's mouth where my legs met. My heart beat like a bird caught in a bag, let's say for her plumage. I could smell his want, 13, and there was a boy, and I became something salt and sweet where my legs met. My heart like a bird swelled and split the clear air with its song. I was the must, the first press wine, 13, and there was this boy and the needles under the pines, that cedary bed, fragrant and ancient as dust, and where my legs met, thirst, a boy, my heart like a bright caught bird. Thank you.